Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Naganadel in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So Naganadel pretty much breaks all of the rules that we know about Ultra Beast. For starters, it evolves from Poipole. And then it has a 540 on the base stat total, which is lower than other Ultra Beasts, and 121 isn't even a prime number, so I don't even know why it's on the speed, because for all the other Ultra Beasts, they have only prime numbers in their base stats, and then they have a 570 base stat total, except for Necrozma, which has been confirmed as an Ultra Beast in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So stats are fairly interesting. It's not even, you can't even call it an Ultra Dragalge, I feel, because Dragalge has an insane amount of special defense. Naganadel is just a sweeping glass cannon-ish kind of Pokemon, but it doesn't have absurd special attack, and also doesn't have a crazy amount of speed, kind of hindered by the prime numbers, because what's next? A 127 special attacker? That's when it starts getting a lot scarier, because we start bullying out other Pokemon. 131 would be super broken as well, so I feel it needed to be put in an awkward state of balance to achieve all this, and then it ended up with a lower base stat total anyways. Now, the type effectiveness. So if you haven't used Dragalge, you probably don't know what any of this is about, but we have a ground, psychic, ice, and dragon weakness, and then a ton of resistances, and then good synergy against Tapus. Like, that's one of the things. Having a sweeping poison Pokemon is going to be pretty solid. We resist the Tapu Koko, except for like fairy type moves, which are going to be neutral, and that's offset by the poison and dragon, but then we also pretty much just resist all the primary stuff except for Tapu Lele, which we outspeed. So decent matchups into the Tapus, while also just being a solid poison sweeper in general, which there aren't really too many of. So let's hop on over to Pokemon Showdown and really break down what is going on with Naganadel. And that just brought us some other examples. Like, okay, let's compare it to Dragalge. Dragalge is much slower, much less special attack, but then a very high on special defense. So I guess, like, trade the special defense for special attack and speed, and that's what we're dealing with. It's pretty much just going to be off of the same typing, but Naganadel gets Flamethrower and Fire Blast, whereas Dragalge does not. And then Dragalge not even picking up the Heat Wave. So we don't have any fire coverage on the Dragalge, so Naganadel kind of has that elevated moveset. As for Salazzle, that's where we have a little bit of different coverage on the Salazzle, but it's going to be a less damaging, more frail, less speedy Pokemon. So if you're looking for a Poison Sweeper, the Naganadel is just going to outclass Salazzle. Unless you're like going for stab fire hits, but if you're using it for 4 times effectiveness, it kind of doesn't really matter anyways. Gengar and Mega Gengar, they're also fast special sweepers, but again, we see them from time to time with their own usage, and I think Naganadel is kind of going to do its own things differently, but in the same realm. Like, if we're looking at it from just a poison, special attacking, fast Pokemon, yeah, there's some other Pokemon that are similar, but Naganadel does have its own little niche. Now, checking out the base Naganadel moveset, it's going to be something like this: Life Orb, Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, or if you want to get really fancy, then that's where we go and bring in the Dragonium Z. But I feel like we just stumbled into a huge issue with the Naganadel. Its special attack stat is not high enough to make the Beast Boost work, so that means we're running a timid fast Pokemon that just gets faster, and then it's locked into the 127 on special attack. So if you want to do some weird things, and that's where we have to go and bring it down. So I mean, that's when we need like a 352 on the speed, go into Scarf, and then we get to just like kind of snowball it with a Choice Scarf from there, and now we're getting special attack boost on the Beast Boost. There's also going to be some other changes that are necessary for the Choice Scarf moveset, so let's go and just show that all right here. And yeah, it does get kind of awkward. Modest Nature, that's going to give us the most damage possible, and since we are locked in Choice Scarf, I think damage is really going to matter, and then we're just going to be getting more and more multiplicative stats on that Beast Boost. So that's pretty solid right there. However, we are going to be losing some other edges that we're not going to be able to use Draco Meteor, because Scarf Draco Meteor, while we are locked into a pretty high damage nuke, you know, we get the outspeed, we get to make it hurt quick. That's kind of it. We get to use it once, and then we're at -1. Can be salvageable, but I just recommend the Dragon Pulse. That way, if you do get a snowball going, Beast Boost is going to be very powerful. Fire Blast, also another one, because we're not a fire-type Pokemon. We don't get stab on the Flamethrower, so going for that extra damage, getting the most out of Fire Blast is going to be pretty nice. And then if we use Fire Blast to finish off a Pokemon, Beast Boosting into that could also give us more snowball potential as well, even though there is some accuracy drawback. So if you're really a stickler about accuracy, Flamethrower can still work, but I mean, I'm trying to push the damage in this moveset. Now, as for Thunderbolt, Naganadel doesn't even get Thunder, and I wouldn't recommend it anyways, because 70% accuracy, I'm not taking that risk, but I will dance with an 85. You know, I think that's how we feel about that. And then we throw down the Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave is just nice. Quality of life move that a lot of more poison Pokemon I feel should have. That if you have the Sludge Wave as a poison special attacker, you're just going to feel better about it. 95 base power versus 90, just little bits of extra damage, little bits of optimization that can matter in the end. But another issue with the Scarf is it just feels weird. You know, 121 speed Pokemon using a Scarf do I really need to be that fast in this day and age of Pokemon? And the answer is kind of yes, and even that's not enough. You know, Salamence comes in, that's going to be a 372 on the speed. If it already has a Dragon Dance, you're pretty much screwed because it just Dragon Claws you and then you lose. So it's not like you can even use a Scarf Naganadel as a response to the Salamence, because then it sounds great. Oh, just Dragon Pulse, super effective, wreck the Salamence, even though it's already set up. You might be able to do good against it. Well, remember, we are gated by that special attack. So if we go into the Timid Nature again, now we're beast boosting speed, and then what's the point of running a Choice Scarf? Kind of makes things tricky right there. And if we are running Timid, then if we are going for like the underspeeds and stuff, so 352 just to find it where we are, put in some hit points. I don't think it even matters just putting the hit points on the Naganadel like this. So it's finding like slight, very niche ranges where the Naganadel might survive in trade for like 30 on the special attack. So that's pretty much going to be your choice right there. However, you are faster, so you might get into some really weird speed situations as well. Now going back to this moveset, Dragonium Z, we were going to talk about that because it is a very powerful thing to use. That the idea is that if you use Dragonium Z immediately, just Z, Dragonium Z, well now you are getting a beast boost and it will be on the speed instead of special attack, but you got a huge damage move behind you. Naganadel can use this to just break something down, set up, and now you have the effective Scarf on a 121 speed Pokemon, which means it is going to be much harder for Pokemon to come in and respond to that, and then you can just coverage out, because now we can sit on super effective Flamethrower, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, and if we can run those, it's going to be pretty solid. So if they do have a Fairy-type Pokemon, Sludge Wave just kind of trivializes that, and that's pretty much it. But we are losing damage. Like, that's the trade-off. Can always do consistently higher damage with the Life Orb, or you get the one nuke on Dragonium Z. Sometimes that's really good on Ultra Beast, but in these weird speed situations, I don't really know how to feel about Naganadel. Yeah, if it had more special attack, it would just be absolutely broken. But with this, I feel it's actually really balanced, if not slightly underwhelming compared to what you would expect out of it, but it's one of the best things that we have for a poison special attacker that gets a nice little bit of dragon coverage. And before we check out the damage calculations, let's go into some of the more crucial things, because Naganadel sits at a really weird speed at the 121, while we are outsped by Noivern and Greninja. Noivern, super effective dragon move, dead. Greninja, super effective ice beam, dead. Weavile, super effective ice move, dead. A lot of things just turn us dead pretty quickly, so that can be fairly problematic. But then we outspeed Pokemon like the Alakazam, Salazzle, Starmie, Ambipom, and then that's where it just kind of trickles down from there. Like, oh cool, Naganadel comes in and it just completely removes Kartana. So Kartana doesn't really have much of a chance against that. We have super effective hits against the Serperior. So as we go down in the list, yeah, we can actually respond to Lucario and quite a few other Pokemon, which is pretty nice. So it does sit at a good speed tier, but with its frailty, if anything faster than us comes along, it's going to be pretty challenging to deal with. And then we will need to use our Draco Meteor pretty strategically. Espeon comes in, Alakazam comes in, we really need to Z Draco Meteor that thing to make sure it doesn't have any chance to, like, revenge on us with an easy psychic move for the KO. So that could be something. And then once we get our speed, we're in a good position, but it's kind of easy to resist our limited moveset, or at least not get hit super effective, and then Naganadel can be revenged on pretty without... And then Naganadel isn't really too difficult to revenge over. So that's just kind of what we're looking at when we're breaking down these speed tiers of this thing. And now let's finish off with some damage calculations. So Naganadel, it's in a frail place. Actually, if anything, I'm going to try to remember to use Naganadel as one of the prime examples of just a sweeping neutral hit. You know, if you can knock out the Naganadel neutrally, you're going to be good to go. And we can even see that against Pokemon like the Stakataka. Yeah, Gyro Ball is just a one-shot that once we pump all that speed into it, it doesn't really matter. I don't even think we need, like, no, we don't even need the EV investment. Just Adamant, high defense, high hit point Stakataka, and then Gyro Ball is going to be able to take out Naganadel. And then because of the moveset, Naganadel doesn't really have much to use in return, but that's just like what happens when we get a Steel-type Pokemon on the field. We're just kind of showing the frailty versus how much damage it can do. So you can be walled out pretty trivially as a Naganadel, to be honest. I'll look at some of the other ones. So we win the matchup against Tapu Koko if we already have a speed boost over us. And also, just look, Dazzling Gleam, Thunderbolt, that's not going to be enough damage. So our Dragon typing is helping us out. If it's a Tapu Koko versus Naganadel lead, pretty good. Just use Sludge Wave, get your Speedy Beast boost, and then Tapu Koko is going to get wrecked. But that does give them a free switch into a Steel-type Pokemon. So Naganadel kind of has to play on a very... high/interesting level to find the most success, but I will say that it's good to see Tapu Koko not immediately nuking something because Naganadel just has an interesting enough typing to fare well against it, and then Sludge Wave, just a lot of natural super effective damage. We can go into the Tapu Lele. So Tapu Lele, Sludge Wave has a very high chance to KO the Tapu Lele. So the Choice Scarf Tapu Lele is very scary and very threatening, but it can't be used as revenge Pokemon, because if Naganadel scores a KO with something, well, now it's outspeeding and Tapu Lele just straight up dies. But if the opponent has Tapu Lele active, you have to be very careful about using Draco Meteor or Dragonium Z, because then they bring Tapu Lele, Fairy-type Pokemon, doesn't matter, and you didn't KO anything, so you don't get the speed boost. So Tapu Lele, like, you have to read your opponent for when they're just itching to bring in that Scarf Lele to just absolutely wreck your Naganadel. And then we can also break down just Greninja matchup. Greninja outspeeds you, Extra Sentry, Ice Beam KOs, but you just have enough damage with like a Life Orb. So I was just kind of showing that between Life Orb and stuff, you know, you have decent damage potential. It's going to be mostly a finishing Pokemon if you don't have any super effective moves, but that Life Orb Sludge Wave coming through with these solid stats overall. And then, like, you get to Z Draco Meteor into another Draco Meteor, so you're effectively sitting on 2 KOs if the coverage is lacking as well. So yeah, that's kind of it. You know, we're not in this insane range, and also just the way that we're playing items is going to make the Naganadel kind of interesting. We can run Dragonium Z, we can run Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Life Orb. Kind of hard to predict, but the moveset makes it predictable. And then we can look at some other moveset options on Naganadel. Nasty Plot can work. Like, if you're just against Pokemon that can't KO you, you know, you have a good switch in with Naganadel, you bring in as a good response Pokemon, the opponent isn't really going to be able to deal with this because, like I said, we just need super effective hits to clean them out, right? Well, there we go, and if they bring in a Water-type Pokemon, we didn't need the Thunderbolt anyways, because Sludge Wave is going to be big damage, unless it's going to be like a combo Pokemon like a Toxapex. Well, then we can still Draco Meteor, so Nasty Plot, Dragonium Z onto a Toxapex. Toxapex is going to hate life, so I mean, it's kind of like the setup Snowball, and that's kind of it. So it's riskier to run that Nasty Plot, because like losing the Thunderbolt isn't the worst thing, but coverage is coverage, and you might just never find a situation to set it up. You know, Naganadel might not be in a comfortable enough position because it is frail to get that Nasty Plot, stay safe, and then be even safer against all the other moves going on. But it will need to score KO, or else it's at risk of being outsped, and then nothing really matters on it. So Nasty Plot makes up for the Beast Boost, and that's kind of it. So if you guys enjoy the video, that is how you use Naganadel. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.